Rolling. Got my man on this morning, Reverend Barber, rolling from Washington, D.C. Good morning.
Tom, Joyner Civil guy, good morning. First and foremost, I noticed something, Tom.
What?
I ain't heard much of nothing from Guy about the Lakers. Just saying. Okay, I just noticed that. I mean, 29-30, not going to make the playoffs with LeBron. I thought so. Okay, just something. Also, of course, Chicago, huge story for the second time in history. There's going to be a black elected mayor with the runoff between Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle. So we'll be watching that. And so we're looking at all kind of stuff. And today, a liar is going to be testifying about another liar, Michael Cohen on Capitol Hill. Tom,
right about that.
They've already released his opening statement. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So Trump is going to be in Vietnam. What about those bone spurs? And we'll see what his tweets are going to be all about. So, but we want to talk about a couple of things that happened just 2 days ago in Washington, D.C., where Reverend William Barber, repairs of the breach, and the Poor People's Campaign came together to announce that they're going to have their national emergency tours. Now, that we're poised to have the Republicans literally in the Senate reject Trump's national emergency call for shifting money for the border wall. The House is going to vote. Democrats are going to pass that. But you got Republican senators who do not agree with this. But Reverend William J. Barber says, no, there's a real national emergency and deals with the poor. He joins us right now. Reverend Barber, good morning.
Good morning, Roland. Always good to be on with you, Thomas Silva.
And first, our condolences since you've been on for your younger brother who passed away. So our prayers still with you and your family. And so I just want to go ahead and say that. Let's talk about this national emergency tour.
Well, Trump is, lying about so much. And one of the things when he called this emergency, is that a national emergency on the southern border, it's just another lie. And his enablers, I'm to the point now, I don't just say Trump, I say his enablers. Because so much of what he does and has done and gets away with is because people chose to support him. Lindsey Graham, even said that students in Kentucky, I believe, would be better by this wall on the border than having access to schools. But anyway, the truth of the matter is we're saying in the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, there are national emergencies inside the border, 140 million people, poor and low wealth in this country. That's a national emergency. 66% of African Americans, something like 30% of white people, but actually 40 million more whites that are poor than African Americans. And, we got 4 million people in this country that get up every morning, can buy unleaded gas and can't buy unleaded water. 37 million people without health care, even though we're the richest nation in the world. We're the only one of the 25 richest that does not provide some form of universal health care. And we have this crisis, Roland, that you've talked about, Tom has talked about, but yet in this nation we haven't dealt with. And that's the crisis of voter suppression, racist voter suppression, which is really what, got him in the White House, the racism on the southern border, the racism that's happening to our native communities and indigenous communities, the way their burial grounds are being taken over. And so we're going on a tour, 28 states, Tom. And these are tours with poor and impacted leaders, clergy, advocates, and we're embedding the media. These are all state-based. All will be happening through the entire month of April. Hope maybe you can get on Roland. Hope maybe Tom and some can get on. We're going to the places to expose what the real national emergencies are, to call attention to what we should be doing as a nation and how we need to be focused on these issues, because only antidote for a lie is the truth told over and over again.
And what we're dealing with here, when you talk about literally the shifting of billions of dollars, and what's amazing is he fought for all this increase in defense funding, and now he wants to shift it from defense funds. That's actually what's ticking off Republicans and why he's losing support among Republican senators. The question, though, will he lose enough for them to vote it down?
That's right. And that also is in a strange irony that they didn't get upset until he started shifting money from defense, which is already bloated. And the reason why We don't have the resources to deal with these other matters. 53 cents of every discretionary dollar right now we have goes to what the war economy. Dr. King said whenever a country puts that much money into militarism, it is headed on a downward spiral toward, being what we would call an empire. We have the resources to fix all of these things. Republicans didn't get upset until they went after defense, but we are doing a listing of what that $8 billion could actually afford, actually purchase. How many people could have health care? How many children could have health care? How many children could have kindergarten and early childhood access? It is so wasteful. It is so wrong. It is so mean, and it is such a lie that the only way we need to take it on is to get on the road and take it on. And we're going to be doing that all across this country, from California to the Carolinas, from Maine to Mississippi. This is a day that we have to stop reacting and get on the offense and start telling the truth like never before.
I do have to ask you about the drama in North Carolina, where Republicans have loved talking about voter fraud, but here you had Republican Mark Harris, who was behind election fraud. Then y'all just had a big victory there, where the courts threw out the legislative maps and the voter ID of this corrupt Republican Party in North Carolina,
and sent the man into a health crisis.
Yeah. Well, we've been in a fight, there for a long time. And, I constantly say, Roland, you have to stay at these fights. Freedom is not something, just one generation wins. You have to keep on. So here's the reality. Republicans in North Carolina have claimed fraud, like other Republicans nationally, with no evidence. We beat them in the court over when they pushed a law that the courts, even the Roberts court, said was surgical racism. Now, interestingly, Roland, we told them same-day registration doesn't produce fraud. Early voting doesn't produce fraud. We didn't need photo ID because we already had signature attestation, which had worked for years. But the one area we told them was a problem was absentee balloting. And we said that mostly white people use absentee balloting, and yet that's the thing that they didn't touch. Now this man has been caught red-handed. He's got to get out of office, and we're going to have a new election.
Stay on the case, Reverend Barber.
Stay on the case and keep up the fight.
Yeah, keep up the fight.
That's his middle name.
Y'all keep partying with a purpose. One day I'll be in the studio and show y'all how to really dance.
By the way, Roland and Reverend Barber, we do the Sky Show from Charlotte on Friday, and like the old Sky shows, we're going to register people to vote right at the top of the show. The NAACP helping us in Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, way to go.
All right.
Great. Take care now.
You too. God bless you.
All right, Roland.